Amigos, están escuchando Nothing to Lose, el podcast de su anfitrión Mansur, el gran jefe del micrófono.
I've been receiving a lot of deliveries at home lately, and there's nothing more annoying in life than waiting on deliveries. You know those delivery companies that, they give you like a day-long ETA, right? They'll say, okay, your package is going to arrive between 6 a.m. and midnight. And that's like entirely useless because it means you got to kick it at home all day. So from reading around, there's like various services online. Like, I don't know if you ever use this app, TaskRabbit. This is the world's most bizarre app. I mean, it's like first world services bundled in. With TaskRabbit, you can pay for people to do random tasks for you. Like, you can pay for someone to wait in your house and collect a delivery for you, right? Or you can pay for them to go and queue in line for something. No, I'm not doing that, right? I ain't trusting next man in my house. I'm saying I don't even trust a delivery driver at the door. Anyways, I got these guys from the ISP over to come and deliver me a new router. I won't name the company. I should probably stop naming the companies until I get a decent lawyer in. But anyways, they were all up in my house, untangling wires, fitting new boxes, all that madness. Considering I don't even trust the guys at the door, I had to put a lot of faith in these two coming through my house like that, right? I had to put up some kind of portraits up in the wall with like the eyes cut out so I could follow these guys around the house, making sure they're not robbing me. Some kind of Bates Motel setup. But yeah, these guys come to deliver this router. They do it like it's a damn drug deal. They'll send in one guy first while the other waits in the car with the goods. Right, and that first guy he's sent in to kind of measure the temperature of the room, make sure everything's cool, making sure I got the money. Right, then he goes back out to his buddy to actually pick up the router. You're installing internet, mate. I got another old movie review for you. This time it's Anaconda from 1996. I'm not even going to give you a spoiler warning. Look, this film is 20 years old. There's got to be like a statute of limitations on spoilers, right? Like, once you cross the 20-year boundary, then it should be okay to give spoilers, right? We should be able to freely discuss it. It's like an old school horror flick about a group of filmmakers that go into the jungle and they get chased by giant snakes, right? But it's an all-star cast. It's got Jon Voight, Jennifer Lopez, the dad from Jumanji. Another guy that got in it is Ice Cube. And the thing about Ice Cube is whenever he acts in films is that he always plays Ice Cube, right? That's like written into his contract. But what's unusual about this film is that there's a scene where Ice Cube is kind of kicking back and he's listening to the radio and on comes a song and it's an Ice Cube song. Now, aside from being a shameless plug, this is weird because clearly Ice Cube the rapper exists in the universe of this film. So why is it not raising eyebrows that somebody who looks exactly like and sounds exactly like Ice Cube is on a boat in the middle of the Amazon with these guys on this weird snake pursuit? Anyways, the remarkable thing about this film, and to call it a film is to sell it short. This is an artifact of the civil rights movement. I mean, this is something that should be treasured and celebrated. This is probably the first Hollywood horror film with a black character where the black character doesn't die first. I mean, this is a watershed moment. We are not merely watching a film. We are witnessing history here. I think there's a loophole, right? I think this is how Hollywood gets around trying to shake off that old kill the black character first thing. Is that what they'll do is they'll kill a white character, but it's never an Anglo-Saxon white character, right? It's always some other kind of white character. And then kill the black character second. That's the workaround, right? That's how you get around that old trope. And the final bizarre thing about this film, it's kind of heavily racialized like many of these films are. But in this one, what they do is they portray some kind of Amazonian tribe as, kind of isolated from the rest of the world. And they're described as worshipping these giant snakes as their god. So what these guys decide to do is do the massively culturally insensitive thing and go off and kill the god of that tribe. And then ask him for an interview afterwards. I go to a lot of coffee shops. There's a bunch around where I live. I'm a big fan of Starbucks, I'll be real with you. I don't even like coffee, I just go for the Wi-Fi. Don't get it twisted, it's not like that TV show Friends. I'm not kicking on a sofa with 6 white dudes. I mean, as an aside, I swear, like, white folk love Friends, right? So much so that before uni, I remember that I was like extensively studying these shows in preparation of going to university, just so, I could understand white folk. I was watching them like they were Discovery Channel documentaries, right? I was watching these canonical works of white traditions and culture. This is a wild digression. Anyways, back to these coffee shops. Not all coffee shops are created equal. There's a bunch that I've been frequenting lately. In St. Pancras train station, there's a bunch of 24-hour coffee shops. They kind of stay late open for the trains, the Eurostar trains and so forth, but they're 24 hours. And the problem with having somewhere that's indoors and open 24 hours is that you get a lot of homeless folks. There's like regular characters there, right? Like there's the guy who's there every night playing the crossword. There's the African dude who's inexplicably in a suit. Anyways, there's a bunch of these people who keep showing up. I used to live in Whitechapel in East London, and we had like the most creative homeless folk. There was this one dude who pretended to be blind. That was his gambit. That was his USP. He'd stand outside the tube station with a stick. And one day I found out that he wasn't actually blind. I caught him on his off hours. I caught him off duty. Glasses were off, stick was away, right? He was just kicking back. He was giving someone directions. My favorite homeless dude in Whitechapel, though, is this one guy who's basically, what his gimmick is that he stands on street corners and pretends that he's lost, right? He'll kind of stand on a corner with some old school map out in his hands. He'll stand there looking at street signs, looking confused, and then he'll catch eye contact with someone and beckon them over as if to ask for directions. I got caught by this one dude one time, I'll admit it. He called me over. I said, oh shoot, this guy must be looking for directions. Let me help him out. And as I got close, he put the map away and he said, yo, got any spare change? I said, damn, you got me. Anyways, the homeless folks back in the St. Pancras Starbucks are, they're less proactive, right? There's a lot of kind of shoplifting of sandwiches, which is miskin folks, innit? I'll buy them a sandwich now and then. I mainly buy them something so that other people don't think I'm homeless. That's my biggest fear, that as a black dude in London, that people don't think I'm like some homeless dude, right? So I gotta make sure that that's correct, right? There's this one theory on the idiosyncrasies of coffee orders, and for the life of me, I can't remember where I saw it or heard it or read it, but it goes a little something like this. The reason people get so precise in their coffee orders is that they lack that kind of control in other aspects of their life. So, for example, there's power users of coffee shops who go in and say things like, yo, give me the skinny soya latte with the triple shot espresso and add some hazelnut syrup or whatever, They go in real precise and descriptive. And they give the barista their real name, which no one ever does. But the reason that these people go in like that is that, it's the only place where, they can control things with such precision. Their lives are such that, that moment each morning when they go into the coffee shop, that's the only time in their day where, they feel control, and so they want to make the most of it. I swear some people use ordering coffee as an excuse to practice their Italian. Not me, I keep it simple because I'm on that Super Mario 64 level of Italian. That select the player. Still, I'm a Starbucks man, right? And Starbucks is kind of like the entry-level coffee shop, right? It's like the B-Tech. There are more advanced levels, Notes and Taylor Street. You never catch me there, man. I don't want to punch above my weight. But a pleasant side effect of continuously going to Starbucks is that I got into Motown music through it. I'll spend a whole day there studying, like back in exam season or whatever. And they're just playing Motown hits all day. I love
it. Beachwood 45789. You can call me up and have a day in the old time. And my number is Beachwood 457.
Final thought I'll leave you with this time is following some dinner I had with some friends this weekend. We went to this restaurant over near Old Street called Boondocks. It's like the second Stacks, if you've ever been to Stacks in Soho. It's like this American-style diner place. It's great. I love it. I'm a regular at Stacks. I even done the eating challenge there. But what's great about Stacks and Boondocks, and this is key, is that they're halal. We can go in with the 5-patty burger challenge and, we're living righteous. But what I do not like is that there's an increasing number of American-style diner restaurants in central London that are not halal. I won't name names, but you know the ones. They're mainly kind of imports from the US. What's unusual is that their respective chains back in the US, they're kosher. But when they come to London, they're neither kosher nor halal, nor ital. But what's crazy to me is that in a city as diverse as London, in a city with as many Muslims as there are in London, I think the last figure I read was like 1 in 8, right? That's 1 million Muslims in London. How can you open a restaurant like that in central London and not have halal options? right? Like either you're a terrible businessman or you're doing it deliberately, right? That you're deliberately excluding, which is what I suspect is happening, right? It's like an easy way to exclude non-white people, right? If you want to make sure that your clientele is predominantly white, a good way to cut out a big chunk of non-white people is to make the food not halal, right? I'm not saying all Muslims keep it strictly halal, but you're cutting out a lot of people, right? So what's really going on there? Anyways, support the restaurants that are repping with the halal food, Stacks, Boondocks, big them up. There's a bunch of others. Keep repping them, keep supporting them. Stay woke. Peace.